Hey guys, Common Sense Outdoorsman here. How are you? And gonna do a little knife talk video here. I don't know how long it's gonna go. We'll just do some chatting. I want to basically cover the topics of inexpensive, expensive knives, and maybe talk about one knife options and gimmicky survival knives, and maybe knife testing and issues and things like that. And so this is just knife talk for those of you who like knives and like to hear this stuff. Some will be bored and won't even watch, and that's fine. But I enjoy it. Maybe you'll see some things. I probably have about 80 knives around me. Let's see if you can look at those. I got a bunch on the table. Sorry for the noise and moving the camera. I got a bunch back there on my RV bench, and I got a as they are on the table. I got a bunch that got heater down there. I got a bunch of knives down there on that side of me. I got a bunch of knives down there on that side. I got knives all over the place. Probably somewhere around 80 of them. There's my backyard. That's my cabin I stay in on the park, and that's my office back there in the park. What a blessed job I have working here on the park and being able to do outdoor things anytime I want. Unfortunately, I've been under the weather the last week, so I haven't been able to get out, and that's why I'm doing an inside video. But anyhow, knives. A lot of people just getting into knives, getting into the outdoors. There is just so much information out there. Knives, knife steels, prices, quality, oh my gosh, that's Chinese junk. You got to buy USA. Oh, that steel sucks. This steel is great. What's the right answer? And the answer to that is there is no right answer, okay? Are there inexpensive knives that can serve you well? Yes, there are. There's a lot of them, and I have a few higher end knives. I'm not going to say they're real expensive. Do I have a $600 knife? No. Would I buy a $600 knife and use it, go fishing, throw it at the bottom of my boat? Probably not. That's kind of real high range for me. Do I mind buying a $150 knife that I really like, that's a really good knife, and using it? No, not at all. I definitely would do that. So, I think that's all relative to the person. If you're just starting out, you don't have a lot of money, you're not going to go out and buy a $150 knife for your first knife, probably. So you're like, oh boy, how much do I need to spend? What kind of a knife do I need to have? Can I buy an expensive knife, and can it be okay? And the answer in general is yes. And most of the knives I use and I've put on video are inexpensive knives, because I think they appeal to more people because they would be more apt to buy them. And if I was doing $300, $400, $500 knives, I might not get a lot of viewers, because people aren't going to typically spend that much on a knife that they want to use. But yeah, you can. And I found so many great deals over the years. And for example, check this knife out. This is kind of an odd thing. Okay. I got this at Kmart probably somewhere around 10 years ago in Virginia. When I lived in Virginia, I was in the Air Force. I was on Langley Air Force Base. I bought a house there. We lived there for like 22 years. Back in the day, it was a wonderful place to live, and hopefully that'll happen again. But anyways, yeah, I at a Kmart, before they went out of business in Virginia, they had this knife on the shelf. It was hanging in a blister. There was two of them. It was like, I can't remember the regular, somewhere in the 20s, and they had it marked all the way down to like $6 and change. And I grabbed it and looked at it, and the funny thing, I don't know if you can see that, but it says, let's focus, it says made in the USA there. Now you can see it. And Outdoor Life, it was 440A steel. It's stainless. But look at that. I was like, that looks very familiar. it's marked Outdoor Life, but it looks like a Schrade knife, and it says made in the USA. The packaging said made in the USA. I did some research on it then. I couldn't really find out anything much, but I believe this to be a Schrade made knife before 2004, before they sold and went Chinese. And I believe Schrade probably made this for Outdoor Life, and they bought a bunch of them from Schrade, and they tried to sell them for a long time, and this was a leftover probably, and there was two of them. I should have grabbed both of them. I just grabbed one. I did go back to try to grab the other one. Of course, it wasn't there, but look at this knife. If that's made by Schrade from before 2004 or prior, this is a great knife. Comfortable handle, that neoprene or that hard plastic handle. It's got a slight hollow grind on there, very sharp, holds a really good edge. This is just a wonderful all-around camp knife, hunting knife, bushcraft knife. Grip is excellent. You're not going to drop this knife. But yeah, I know that was 10 years ago when I got it, but still, there are inexpensive knives that you can find that will just serve you as well as any $200 knife you can buy. And that's just one example. Love this knife. Love it, love it, love it. But can you find this type of knife? You might be able to find a knife like this that, and then Schrade, they continue to make this style of knife with the, in China and that stuff. So you could probably find something like that. But anyways, what a deal that is. I wish I would have got that second one. But I mean, I would use this knife all day long. It could be a primary knife for me. I would have absolutely no problem with that. You don't have to spend a lot of money. What I would recommend, if you're looking for a knife, don't pass up the Master Cutlery brands like M-Tech, Elite Tactical, Elk Ridge, stuff like that. They have a website, Master Cutlery. Find the website, look at those knives. They predominantly seem to use 440A and 440C. But I've had great luck with those knives, and a lot of them I've gotten on the cheap. Check this knife out. And I got, this one's, I probably had this one for about 7 years, maybe 6, 7 years. I don't know. But I think they're still available. This one, I got to use my magnifying glass here. I can't. This is 440A. It's the ER-544 Elk Ridge knife. And I think they call this a bushcraft knife or whatever. It's got an orange G10 handle. I put that grip tape on there. It's got the flow-through pins on there. You can put a lanyard on there. It's got 3 pins. I've covered the one up with the tape. Nice thickness to the handle. Love that. Very comfortable. The right thickness on the blade for me. This is probably about an 1/8 inch thick. Okay, it is a hollow grind, and I know people don't. Hollow grinds are fine for outdoor knives. They're not going to be, typically, they're not going to be too weak. Hollow grind is fine, but I picked up like 3 or 4 of these because they were down to like $7 on Amazon. That was 7 or 8 years ago, but I got a bunch of them, and some of them have wood handles and whatever, but what's wrong with that knife besides nothing? It works great. Their Master Cutlery, the 440 that they use, the 440A, 440C, there's all kinds of knives they put out there. Years ago, people did a lot of videos, destructive tests on them, shooting them and everything. Their 440C and 440A is pretty good steel. They heat treat it properly. It works. No problems at all. So it came with that sheath. I didn't come with the fire steel. I don't remember. I can't remember if it came with some kind of a cheesy kit, whatever. But nice nylon sheath. It's okay. Nothing too bad about it. So great. Master Cutlery. Look at the Master Cutlery knives. Here's an M-Tech knife, okay, by Master Cutlery. This one's 440C. I might have paid, I don't know, $20 for this knife years ago. Nice nylon case. Has some webbing on it, other stuff. Pretty good. But I mean, if you like those blacked out knives, Slight hollow grind, but it's strong. It's going to be okay. I would trust this knife for anything. I would. Not a problem. Elk Ridge, another Elk Ridge. They call this the Bushcrafter 2. This Elk Ridge is the ER-555. This one has a little cheapo, chintzy, silly survival kit. That handle comes off. Sorry, I put tape over it, but it has fasteners. It comes off, and they've got fishing line in there, maybe some hooks, some matches, and it's a crappy kit, but they put it in the handle. You could get this. I think they still sell these with the wood handle. You can get them with a black handle, I think a brown handle, whatever. They're like $20. 440A steel. I mean, they work. The steel is okay. You can use it. Hollow grind, good strong hollow grind. That's about a 5-inch blade. Yeah. Yeah, that's you would have no problem. It came with this sheath. It came with the 550 paracord on there, the little clipper thing there, whatever you want to call it. A pouch. It has a pouch, and yeah, not bad. Could you buy this knife and make it your primary knife and get by just fine? Yeah, you can. You sure could. How about the I hope this is fun for you guys. I don't know. This is the USMC Elite Tactical Knife. And it looks familiar, doesn't it? This is like what, the Rat, is it the Rat 6 and the SA knife, or is it the Rat 7? I can't remember what it is. But anyways, yeah, they copied it from that years ago. This is 440C. Again, it's a master cutlery type knife, and there's nothing wrong with this knife. G10 scales. You can, I think they discontinued this one. I'm not sure, but nice strong tip. Can you see that tip? The black coating, decent nylon sheath, webbing. You know, I got this for like, I don't know, $25 back in the day, whatever. Bigger knife, 6-inch blade, fine. No problems with knives like that. Let's do, oh, how about my little hunting, where is that knife? My little hunting knife. This is another Elk Ridge. Oh, here it is. Elk Ridge, little hunting knife. Look at that. It's master cutlery, 440A. I love this knife. Walnut handle. This has been a great knife. For a little belt knife, a little hunting knife, little bushcrafter. This is, and I think they still sell this one. This is one of their popular ones. This is the ER-268 Elk Ridge. Hand forged in China. All right, we don't believe that. That's not hand forged, but whatever. Elk Ridge, perfectly fine knife. That is the sheath it came with. Is it leather? No, that's fake leather, but it works. Nothing wrong with that. I think, I don't know, what did I pay for this? Maybe $12 back in the day. It's probably a little more now, but if you wanted a little belt knife, no problem. No, you do not have to pay a lot of money to get a decent knife. You don't. No. Even if you get into real brand name knives like Martini, they're inexpensive. They'll do it. Good knives. Here's a different Mora to look at. This is the more classic Craftsman 612, and it's got the finger guard on there. And this is just a high carbon knife. I did put a patina on it. I did wrap it in my wrap. Nothing wrong with this. They used to be able to get these for $10-12. Now they're higher. Now they're like 25, but it's still worth it. If you had this knife and you were out, you wanted to do some bushcrafting, if you were in a situation and this is the only knife you had, you'd be absolutely fine. Nothing wrong with inexpensive knives. They work. How about a bigger, inexpensive knife? Just for an example. Here we go. Look at this. Yeah, I know it looks silly. This is a Schrade knife. And you get these with the camouflage handle at Tractor Supply. Okay, the sheath it holds a knife. That's it. It's just a cheapo nylon, not even worth looking at. And this is 3R13 steel. It's similar to like a 420 steel, I guess. But so I like that this is a good brush clear, like a little machete type knife, and the steel has been fine. It holds an edge just fine. The problem with this model, and you can get, there's another model they sell with the hatchet on Amazon. I don't know what the number is for it, but comes with a hatchet, and it's got a black rubber handle. This is a camouflage plastic handle. And I've seen some videos where this handle, you know, if you smack it, it can crack because it was a hollow handle, but it's got hardware. I took my hardware off. I got some epoxy, and I filled both sides of them. You can fill both sides of those handles with epoxy. It dried great. Made the handle a little heavier, put it back on there to toughen it up a little bit. That was very easy to do, but I got this at Tractor Supply for 14 bucks. It works great. It's a nice little machete style knife. You know, would I have a problem if I was left with this knife only and had to get out of a situation, an outdoor situation? I wouldn't have a problem at all with this knife, okay? I wouldn't. The steel seems to be relatively tough. No problems. How about something maybe familiar to you? How about the old hickory knives? This was, you know, this is the typical, the 7-inch butcher knife in the K-bar style sheath. That you've seen these, you've seen it. And I mean, I like it. Great knife. It's kind of lightweight. If you get too harsh on it, that handle can come loose. Mine's pretty solid, but I haven't really done a lot with this knife yet. But 1095 high carbon, you can do a lot of stuff with this knife. These used to be able to get these for 12, 13 bucks. I think they're a lot closer to 20 now. Inflation, you know, we got inflation going on, guys, and it's, you know, whatever. Vote, get this straightened out. But anyways, yeah, no problems with this knife. You do a lot of stuff with this knife. This is that, you know, a lot of guys take this knife and, you know, cut the blade down, make all different other knives out of it, whatever. Great knife to have. Works really good. And this is the smaller. They came out with the smaller, what do they call this one? Smaller Hunter. This is like 5.5 inch. It's just, then the handle on this one is rounded. This handle, can you hear it? It is. Those rivets are already loose, and I didn't do a lot with this knife, but that can be fixed. I'm going to put some epoxy around the edges. I'll get that fixed. That's not a problem, but I like that. I enjoy it. 1095. I think some of these now, they've gone to 1075. It's confusing. I wish Ontario, they do that with a lot of their knives, then they start to hide what the steel is, and don't do that. Make a knife. Mark it on the blade. Is it 1075? Is it 1095? Is it 5160? Let people know what the heck it is and go that way. But you can do a lot of things with this knife. This one comes with the sheath. This one actually comes with this sheath. It's okay. No problems. It's just got that kind of a belt loop there. But yeah, could you, you know, could that be a primary? It could. Wouldn't be the one I'd pick, but it could be. It could be fine. Look at the Baco. Let's look at this Baco knife. It's like the Mora Companion. This is the Baco 2444. It's like the Mora Companion. The sheath is a little bit different style, but it works great. And I find that the knife blade seems to be a little bit thinner than the Companion. I'm not going to hold up the Companion to compare, but it's a little thinner. This one is a little, you know, a little springier than the Companion. But if this is the knife you have, I think I got this for what, $13 back in the day. And again, inflation, you're probably going to get more than 20 bucks for this knife now. But yeah, something in my mouth. But yeah, stainless steel Baco, made by Mora, no problems. You can all kinds of bushcraft with this stuff. You can do some light batoning, piece of cake. No problems at all. So yeah, do you have to buy an expensive knife? No. I'm looking for some more options. to show. I got all kinds of, I don't know, I'm taking a lot of time on this, but no, you don't have to spend a lot of money. Look, here's another example of getting a deal. I'll show you this one, and this is a folder. I haven't really been doing folders lately, but this is a Kershaw. I got this maybe 5 or 6 years ago from Blade HQ. For some reason, they had them on there at the time. They were on a sale, and I think I got the orange colored one also. I got a few of them, but if I remember, it was like 12 bucks. Would I pay $25 for this knife? I would. Is it 12 bucks? What a great deal. This is a great outdoor knife for hunting. You could do some woodworking with this knife. Look at the curve of there's the right curve on that blade to do some woodworking. I'm not a big, oh boy, this area here, you know, finger choil guy, but that's okay. You know, lock back, and is 12 bucks. Can you do a lot with this? Yeah, you can. We're going to get into folders more in the future, but right now I'm going to stick with the, that's the Kershaw Lone Rock. That was the Lone Rock, yep. Yeah, so you can find all kinds of deals, inexpensive knives, no problem. A lot of people, you know, you got this thing going around with the one knife option thing. We talked about that before. It's kind of like a fun thing to me. Do you really want to plan to, hey, I just want to carry one knife and I want to be able to do everything? Not a good plan. I always have at least 3 knives, sometimes 4, maybe more, but if I'm going out somewhere really for an overnight or for a real thing, I have 3 knives, at least 3 knives. If for nothing else but have fun, I've got at least three knives. The one knife option thing for me is just a fun scenario to talk about and do whatever. So people who are on there, they're selling these knives, one knife option. It'll do it all. It'll chop, it'll cut, and whatever. And it can do a lot of things, but then they slap a high price on there. Not necessary. Just if you like the knife and that's what you want, and you want the cheesy survival kit, go for it. That's not a problem. Whatever. If you like it, you like it, but it's not. Don't fall for it. Don't think you're getting something better because it's marketed that way. That's not, you know, it's just not true. And survival kits, if you're making a survival kit, you have to customize it to your situation and what you're doing. I carry different kinds of kits at different times for different reasons. If I go off up this hill this afternoon with my little pack just for a day thing, I'm gonna take certain gear with me, and certain stuff I know I'm not gonna need to take. So it depends. If I'm going remote in Alaska and I'm flying on a little charter plane, I'm gonna have a completely different kit. I'm gonna have a completely different survival kit. I'm gonna have some kind of a kit strapped to my body. If that plane goes down, I'm gonna have something with me, and it's probably gonna have a Coast Guard boat type of flare in it, because if I go into the water at my age now and my capabilities, I'm not going to survive. I'm not going to be able to get a fire. I want that, I want that flare that's going to light, and I want to grab a bunch of sticks, put them in a pile, stick that flare in it, and I need some heat so I can stay alive. So I'm going to have a complete different kit. If I walk off here in my backyard, I'm not going to take that flare with me. It's going to be kind of useless to me. So you have to cater your kit. So these survivally gimmicky kit knives, just watch out for that. Don't waste your money unless you really, really like what they offer and you really like the knife, and then get it. Then get it. That's fine. But don't think you're getting something special because of the gimmick stuff. You're, not necessarily doing that. But let's just talk about knife testing. I get a lot of questions and stuff. Hey, why are you doing that with the knife? It's just testing. I don't normally do that with my knives. And now I don't take my knife testing to destruction. There are some channels that do that, and that can be telling also. It's kind of good to see, hey, I've got this knife. I'm going to take my Gerber Prodigy and I'm going to try to break it. And this would be a hard knife to break. I might not, if I'm sticking in a log and I might not be able to break that knife. That's a fairly tough knife. But I usually don't do that kind of testing, but I want to test my knives to the point that for what I do, I know it's going to do it and it's not going to fail. So I'll do some tip work, I'll do some batoning, some chopping, take it about to the limit that, hey, if it can do that, I know it's a good knife for me. And you got to be careful, because a lot of guys will say, will take their knife, maybe it's a bigger knife, maybe, you know, you won't know what this one is, but this is a Schrade. Oh, this is a Smith & Wesson Extraction and Evasion SWEE 1, SWEE 1, 1070 steel. I won't talk about that too much, but, you know, it's about 3/16 inch thick. Yeah, I can do a lot rougher stuff with this knife. And, you know, if I try to do a destruction test on it and stick that tip in a log and try, may not be able to break that. That's pretty thick, but it is telling when you take a knife like this and you really put it through its paces. Hey, how good is that steel? How good is that 1070 gonna stand up? And so, you know, people do those kinds of tests on their channels, and that's okay. It can be telling. It can tell you something. I go a little less. I don't want to break my knives, but I want to know that they're good enough. And besides, if I stick this knife in a log and I'm bending it all over and everything, and even though it survives, should you use that very same knife as your survival knife? Maybe not, because, you know, I worked on, you know, aircraft in the Air Force. I had missiles, everything. And one of the big topics for aircraft, of course, is metal fatigue. Metal does fatigue. So although you didn't break your knife through harsh testing, that doesn't mean that you didn't stress fatigue that metal, put a stress crack in it, and then you might do all your, hey, great knife after you did all your testing, and then take the knife out and go like this with it, boop, and it breaks in half because you stressed the hell out of it. So be careful with that kind of testing. Okay, so I'm going to end this video, guys. I can go on and on and on. I hope you enjoyed that. If you like this kind of thing, let me know. Please make a comment. Tell me about what you think on knife prices, and how much would you spend or wouldn't you spend, and how much, you know, do you think that a $200 knife is really that much better than a $20 knife? It could be. Maybe it's not. A $200 knife could, hey, look, there's an LT Wright. That's their Forest Trail. Love this knife. If I had to pick a one knife option for the outdoors, this would be it. 5-inch blade. I love the saber grind. A2 steel, great steel. Micarta handles. I wish it had white liners. I wanted a white liner one, but this knife today is like $230. You know it's an LT Wright knife. You know it's made right. You know it's a tough knife. A2 is a tough steel, high carbon steel. It's got some alloys in it. It's not going to rust as much as 1095, but great knife. I love this knife. Love this knife, but you don't need to spend $200 to get a great knife. If you like it, like I like this one, I bought it. Did I need to spend $200? No, but I really like the knife, so I got that knife. Okay. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Make a comment. Tell me about your knives. How much you usually like to spend. Tell me if you've got a real inexpensive knife that you enjoy, that's tough, that's held up. Tell us about that knife. If you like my channel, subscribe. If you don't like my channel, don't subscribe. Thumbs down, whatever you want to do. Doesn't matter. Sooner or later, I am going to put Amazon links on my different knives and stuff, and I'm going to try to get that going and everything. So if you're, you know, if you see something you like and you want to click on a link and make it easier for you, if you can't search for it, we'll try to get that going soon and other things. And tomorrow I get back to work, and got to work for a few days before I can make another video. So, all right, guys, thanks for watching. Sorry it was a long one. Talk to you later.